All right. We are back. Another episode. Brian Comstock Podcast is just my name because that's the one thing I can commit to indefinitely. So today's friend is Nik Bakhshalian, and he's a friend of mine. We've been friends for a while, for many seasons, many reasons. I was like, I've never pronounced your last name before, Bakhshalian. He's like, sure. I'm like, the fact that you would say sure to me pronouncing your last name with kind of a deadpan, that about sums up our. But yeah, this is going to be a bit of a random show. I'll give a little bit on Nik. But yeah, this is going to be a wide-reaching conversation. And the goal here is to kind of focus on things that interest us and interest you, hopefully, the listener. But we'll kind of see where it goes. Side note: it's very hard. Nik's heard my speech on this, but it's very hard to find good service providers, and I think 100% of your clients you become friends with and start podcasts with. So, so that's kind of, yeah, we have a unique, he was like, I go through thousands of vendors and Nik cracked through and I'm like, this guy is interesting. And he did things and showed me things that no one else does. Like, hey, I'm guessing you care about profit. Let's bake that into our, discussion in a way that anyway, so he's just a very unique, he's humble, he's smart, he's just an awesome guy. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking at myself. Nik, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. I feel a little pumped up now. You showered me with like compliments that are no longer relevant because I'm no longer providing those services. I mean, I'm doing IT now, so if anyone needs IT, then I'm still bringing that same quality. But yeah, I'm not doing like marketing or anything like that. So um, it's very interesting. But I think yeah, part of what you said is I can you can find people, right? As long as you're open to meeting people and caring about people, you can find people that you click with and that have similar interests, similar approaches to things, think about it in very similar ways. We both have an entrepreneurial sort of approach to things, and I think that's what made it go beyond our service agreement, which ended a year ago, right? Like we haven't worked together in a long time, and we're still in contact. We're still talking about stuff because there's there's stuff beyond that if you find intelligent people, if you find people that can think about things in a sort of creative way, um, that's what you need to just surround yourself with, right? Um, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it sounds trite, but the good surround yourself with good people has been a big topic of mine. I kind of went, I mean, COVID's no longer an excuse. So my latest one is just going deep with Claude and AI and stuff. I'm like, oh, let me just, and you also go through different seasons of pulling away from people and all that to say, um, one of the themes this week for me is like really getting a bit organized and cultivating, those people that you click with and, like, because I think some of us got more men than women, like stereotypically, but it can go months, years where I'm like, I haven't spoken with. I mean, I love this person. I love so and so. I don't know why I'm not. Why are we not starting up a new podcast? Like, why? Why are we not, no, no. But for real, I think it's actually made a world of difference. I've had a pretty big week, just kind of with that.
Like reaching out to people again.
Yeah, reaching out, like I've sparked up like all sorts of conversations, all sorts of people that, you being one of them, just like it really, I mean, the most immediate win is just mental health. Like I feel like we're kind of social tribal, like in a good way where I'm like, oh yeah, I just feel like baseline. I mean, loneliness is not something I like strongly identify with, but, if I did, it evaporated. Like,
Yeah, if you were to think, it's super important to like the what I find curious about that is just getting out of your own head.
Yeah,
right?
that's a big.
However you can do that allows for better thinking and a better mood and so on. So whether that's like a really easy way is to try to get into somebody else's head, just talk to them about their stuff and be interested in somebody else's life. And then that helps a lot. And we are like you said, we're social creatures, right? It's a need. It's hard to be by yourself forever. So it's important to get out and sort of rebalance where your standards are at, what you find important. Like I went on a camping trip, and that was like it was 12 of us hanging out for 3 days, doing whatever, hiking,
Make sure you
paddling, whatever.
make sure you check off digital detox in my app after you did that. Did you go like no screens and everything, like full?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we were in the middle of the woods. There's no reception. There's nothing really there, and but what that reminded me of was of how little we need to exist, right? And I remember there was a little comic or something that I read about um, a human talking to a robot and like saying that he feels like a failure, and the robot's like, "You don't have an objective. Like
Mm,
your whole you don't have a programmed thing that you are meant to achieve. As long as you're alive, you are completing your objective. So by definition, you can't be a failure." And the again the realization of or not realization, but the remembrance of I need a little bit of food, I need a little bit of shelter, I need a little bit of company, and I'm good. Like that's it. That's all we need, really. Everything else is superfluous. Everything else is additional. Everything else is thing, and keep that in mind, right? Because then, if you don't achieve that thing that you're chasing, you're still fine, right? That was a really good reminder. So all we need is like, don't forget that you need people,
yeah.
right? Don't lose track of the fact that like you're there with other people, with other friends. You're like that's part of the need. Um, yeah.
No, I think yeah, it's like one of my pseudo slight fears is very profound, like would materially 10x benefit your life, sometimes comes across as like, oh no, I understand, like yeah, eat healthy, or I understand, like take time off from work. It's like that's the hard part. And so when you can when you can, like I did a crazy, that's another thing I want to talk about is like I did a breathwork session, and getting whether it's an in-depth conversation with a friend or a breathwork session, there's other ways to have kind of open up the kimono of your mind. And however you open up those pathways to like, oh, like this actually, like I've been missing them, like this is a big deal, like yeah, anyway, like I completely agree with what you're saying. It's just like the more it's like one quick phrase, like easy to do, easy not to do. It's like, oh yeah, like I could go months not camping, not reaching out to friends, like, and then okay, why is my mental health in the gutter? It's like these are, like basic checks and balances.
And what's a good thing is like the friends that you end up reaching out to, even if you haven't. Some of the people I went camping with, I hadn't seen in 4 years, which was the last time we went camping, and it was like no time had ever passed. Right. That's the reinforcing that as well is important because it's like, okay, well, I haven't spoken to this guy in 6 months. Like, should I just reach out and like how do I talk to him? Like, is it going to be awkward? And it's never awkward. Like, not with the right people, right? Um, it's just, hey, like, haven't seen you since high school. Like, how's it going? Like, let's get back into the same patterns that we had back then, and
Nice.
hang out and talk and chat and like let's catch up, right? Figure out what we're doing for each other. But like, that's part of it, and yeah, like success in life is important. Like, it's something worth chasing, but failure is not something that we should really be concerned with, right? Because we don't really fail as long as we're living, as long as we have people around us that we love and that love us and stuff like that. That's the end goal, right?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think one of the billions of things I'm thinking about is that's all true. And the challenge is there's so many like marketing, social media, there's so many forces that basically hypnotically program you to potentially think otherwise. And I look at it as the default setting is working against you. Like the default setting is you get exposed to billions of advertisements, keep up with the Joneses, social media kind of, and so just like I'm taking my friends and, life and social networks seriously, I'm kind of hand in hand with that, taking these influences seriously. That's why digital detox is something. I was at a bachelor party, did even 3 days without, looking at my phone. I'm like, this is a whole new thing. So, um, yeah, I mean, I try not to get too cynical. It's like, look, we got modern medicine, we got all these great things, and we also have everyone has 17 screens in their pocket. So the dopamine wars are real,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's rough. I'm a big like dopamine addict too. Like I'm not gonna lie about that. Like I'm on my phone. I think my screen time is like 4 or 5 hours on the phone.
Yeah, I'm like,
Uh,
I try to keep my numbers up. I'm like, that's it.
but I've been it's in talking to people and in talking to like I changed jobs a couple months ago and I really enjoy just talking business about with my CEO, and that's like I'm separating out of the even that is an elevated point of view, right? It's a remembrance that I'm not just doing the thing that I'm doing, it's why I'm doing it, and it reinforces that, which de-enforces the rest of the stuff, right? If I'm just floundering around or thinking about what I'm doing next or just being on my phone, I started reading a lot more instead, right? Because it's still
What are you
good,
reading?
and I'm able to bring that up and have discussions about the things that I'm reading and learning and whatever. Um,
We said we were gonna
determine
do. We said we were gonna do. We said we were gonna do all religion and politics. Are you reading like CNN or like what? And I'm just like, what? What are you reading?
I'm reading the Quran. I'm reading the Bible. I'm reading the Torah. I'm doing cross matching,
Are you
cross
really?
reference. No,
Oh,
no, I'm reading business books. Man. What are you talking?
yeah, I know people who
We're
say.
on marketing and sales. I'm trying to, what the hell are you
I'm like,
saying?
I know people who say they've done that, and I'm like, I don't believe that. Um,
Well, there are people who do that. There's like
okay, I should
religious
believe it. Yeah,
studies. Like
yeah, yeah. No, I
a
know,
friend
but
of
like,
mine's a PhD in comparative religion. So
I'm not.
like,
Yeah, all right.
yeah, I'm not. But that's a thing.
So you're doing comparative business journals or something. What do you?
Yeah. So I've actually been struggling a lot with. Um, so I'm right now I'm the director of growth and strategy at an IT company, an IT firm, and it's such an interesting challenge to take on because unlike any of the marketing that I was doing in the past and that I was good at, to your point, I'm trying to sell a product that nobody wants. Like the only people that want IT are people that figured out that they need it.
Mm.
Not the ones that
Like
there's no
begrudgingly,
desire, there's no inherent. It's like something went wrong. Oh
begrudgingly
shit!
need.
I
Yeah.
have to avoid it again next time. Let me talk to somebody. So how am I supposed to like? I'm selling bully insurance to people who've never experienced bullies. What's the path that I have to take about this? And I'm like trying to look into different resources. I'm talking to different people, um,
You
and
say
it
bully or bullion? What'd you say?
bully like uh, from bullies.
Like cyber bullies, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, whatever, right? Like it's if I break it down from a it's so ransomware, like we have cybersecurity,
Oh,
we do
okay, like
backup.
professional illegal bullies. Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
like,
but if you've never experienced it,
like IT and bullies. But that's why I love you. It's like, yeah, that waters it down. They're bullies.
is where it is. They'll take your lunch money, except it's millions of dollars and your lunch is the data. Uh, so it's how do I
Lunch.
sell it, right? And how do I sell it to someone? So a small business owner, I've spoken to a couple, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can take the compliance angle because there are certain data laws that you have to comply with if you're in business. And I'm speaking to business owners And that I'm like, what you're doing, like the way that you're handling your data is not only just not compliant, like it's illegal. It's what you're doing is fraud to a degree. Like you're passing off work anyway. And I can help you fix that. And he's like, I don't care. If I don't get caught, I don't care. It's good for my business. So I was like, okay, I have to figure this out. So that's the types of books that I'm reading, is like marketing, sales, especially high ticket sales, and how do I approach it? And
What? But are you on the sales side of that? Like, why are you like? Because you're not. No, you are. You're not. I don't think so.
I'm everything now.
You're everything. All right.
I'm the marketing and sales and internal process management, service delivery. Like I'm essentially the right hand of the CEO, trying to fix everything.
So you're wearing a plethora of hats, lots of hats wearing.
Lots of hats.
Lots of hats.
Lots of hats, lots of coats. It's super fun. It's very, very interesting, and it's so again, getting out of your own head. If we're back on, like, if we're on that topic, I did not recognize my depth of knowledge and expertise
until you talk to
because I had no one to compare it to. Right. So to whether it was like sales expertise, marketing expertise, what have you, I don't know how good I am because all I know is me. I'm the standard.
Yeah.
Right? So I have nothing to compare to.
No reference point. Yeah.
So talking to other people made it evident that, like, oh, okay, shit, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And I've already, in the like 6 to 8 weeks that I've been there, made a big impact in the way that certain people are approaching giving quotes, giving estimates, like the way that the team is internally talking to themselves. Like there weren't really proper meetings set up for them to be able to discuss things. Mm-hmm. So like I'm having a very positive impact on the company already. And this one thing where I'm like, I have to figure out the offer, right? Well, how do I sell backups to someone who doesn't want to pay for anything, and also has never needed it? Yeah. Right? How do I sell insurance? Like if you didn't need to get insurance on your car, would you get it? Right? Like,
yeah, selling vitamins versus the painkiller is a pretty, it's kind of, I was thinking about that this week. It's crazy. Yeah. I played around with an idea of like, what if I only sold to finish that thought, this was only sold things that people want. But the challenge is the things that I believe in, they don't quote unquote want them. Like I believe in, you should build your life for the next, 10 years and not just look for like, how do I get out of, how do you get out of pain for your back? You got to work in a specific way for a year versus like, so I believe in things that are a bit longer range. But then you have the challenge you're having. And I go back and forth on that myself with my own stuff. I was playing around with this mentally this week, like, cause there is a tension there. Like what I want to sell is not necessarily like the first thing they would pull off the shelf. I quote unquote need this, yeah, that is a present day challenge that we can, read cross-reference the Bible and the Quran until we figure it out.
It's, I wonder if there's some good ideas in there about it.
I'm sure you could find
some wisdom.
Yeah. There's wisdom in every, 100%. But
education is the way to go, and authority, right? Like those are the two things that I've sort of landed on, is whatever the topic is, right? It's I think you have a really good analogy of vitamins versus painkillers. Like, how do I get the point across that vitamins will make you not need painkillers, even though painkillers is way more expensive, the vitamins is cheaper, but you have to get it now, type of thing. Like that has to be educated. People have to know and internalize the importance of it so that they'll go out and get vitamins. But the vitamin market is massive now, right? Why? Because people trust the people that are selling it. So if David Beckham is saying IM8 is the best vitamin that I've come up with. It's okay, well, I kind of want to be like David Beckham. He's got money, he's got resources, he can do whatever he wants. And he says this is good. So I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna try it, right? Like it's Joe Rogan and AG1, right? If Joe Rogan is saying AG1 is good, I trust Joe Rogan. I think he's a good thinker. The way that he interviews people is very sort of center and whatever. If I think that, if I trust his opinion and he says AG1 is good, I'll get AG1 and I'll try it, and hopefully it makes a difference, right? But people are educated on vitamins, and I think that's a big part of what I have to do is educate people on what IT is, and then hope that that's enough for them to reach out and I'm literally going to write a book on this. I'm going to write the book on IT.
I've been saying forever, someone's got to do that. I think some of it is they sell vitamins as a painkiller. Example, like if you take collagen, your hair, you'll have Nick's hair. Like I want your beard on my head. Like I just want your beard on my head. And then, it's like bro's hair. Like, so I think a lot of these vitamins, they find a painkiller adjacent or on the nose, so
you have gut problems.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's part of it, is the more you can sell a long-term thing as if it's a short-term thing. I don't know. It's just hard, man. I think it's hard with people. I would never turn us all into Spock. I think the fun of the world is that we're emotional and illogical. I would never turn us into robots, but nonetheless, you really have to go through some mental gymnastics to get to the quote emotional, element of why someone would do something that logically obviously makes sense for them. Like
coaching has the same downside. No,
say it again.
Coaching has a very similar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have the same challenge, right? Big time. We do a whole podcast series on the challenges of coaching, but it does weed out by the time you actually want to receive some level of quote unquote coaching. You tend to be more my person, meaning you have a level of appreciation for, I understand I'm investing in myself. I understand that this is not like an overnight, I'm here to, learn. So it tends to attract the people who would actually buy coaching. You do get more growth minded people that's been my favorite, by far and away, my favorite thing with doing my channel, meeting people, like the people that make it through. And there's tons of people that are not going to get to that stage. That's why I built an app. So then it's like free and cost is no longer an objection. I still want to help people on differing levels, but even a free app is like, hey, do you want to walk today like 10,000 steps? And people are like, no, in fact, it's just like hard actually. So one thing I wanted, again, we're bouncing around, but within this topic of logic versus emotion, I kind of took a stab yesterday, and I won't do it to you but like I had a friend, I kind of like stuck my neck out there, if that's the right term. It was like, hey man, like I want you to, it was hard to word it, but I was like, I want you to like care about your health more. I was like, I really leaned into that. Right. And it's a weird thing because logically he should care more than I care. And it's not something he's unaware of. So it puts me in an interesting position. But I would say, generally speaking, the older I get, the more I think your real friends are the people who gracefully bring things to your attention versus just pacify you. And, when my friends see me going off course, they let me know. They let me know even if I'm not going off course. So, but it was an interesting thing of like, when we're talking about vitamins and painkillers, it was basically like, look, man, I know you're crushing those painkillers, like potentially literally, also for sure metaphorically, but how can I orient you to more of a, I want you to have a healthy, it's like, I want it for him, but it's like so hard. And that also ties back to the coaching. It's very hard. You can't want something more than someone else wants it. I would tell people, I'm like, yes, you're going to need money. Like that's a part of coaching, but what you really are going to need, like all I need from you is desire. Like I can't desire it for you. I can try to motivate you, but like I need at a bare minimum, like I am tired of this and I desire some level of change. Like I can't witness you in a crash and care more than I can't take your emergencies more seriously than you do. Like but anyway, with the friend, it was like, how do I navigate this? It was like a very real present day, present week topic. I'm like, how do I don't know. Have you ever been called? Yeah. What's your take on all that?
There's a reason interventions work, right? Maybe I've never had one or been in one, but the intention behind it is like all of these people care, and that's the primary part. It's very important that the person recognizes you as a friend that's close enough and that cares. So there was an old quote saying whatever that I heard where it's like your friends are mirrors. The closer you are to one, the more you'll be able to see your defects, right? Your blemishes and stuff. So the intention is to be that, like, if someone who's not your friend won't tell you that you have something in your teeth, and someone who's a friend will, and someone who's a very good close friend will be like, hey man, like this is not good for whatever. Like it's very important that you take this seriously because I want to be your friend for 20 years more.
You're right. I know.
Not like I want to grow with you. Like I don't want to see you fail and fall out of my life. Like this is not the right path for us to like. Again, it's not about an ultimatum. It's not like I'm not going to be your friend anymore. But sharing that earnestly might have the right impact and might help someone change their approach. But again, it's about convincing them to do it inside, right? Like it's giving them the tools to be able to make that change is also important. Being there for them, right? But it's not a bad thing. It's not bad to reach out and say that. Like it's, if anything, it's just showing your closeness with the person, as long as they recognize that. As long as they recognize that you are close and you are coming from a place of care. Because that's what's most important. And the interesting thing, like you mentioned, of coaching and stuff, like I think that the majority of mental health and self-improvement and all of these sort of establishments are necessary now because we don't have the close friends that we may have one day had, right? Like if you had a handful of really close friends and you had trouble with XYZ, you had a handful of people that you can go and speak to about this. And you'd sit by a fire and discuss these things and that would help you because you were open to receiving that. And I feel like that's not something that people are generally open to taking or like giving or receiving it in this day and age.
It's actually, yeah. Sorry.
No, but
it's actually interesting you say the fireside because I literally had that actual literal fireside chat with some people that I love, family, and recently, and I was all over. I was like texting them after. This is literally the best. And what was really cool is 80% of the fireside chat was them in some form or another calling me out on different things. But there's that, but I know it's like you said, from a place of love and these like the actual literal fireside chat to me I was like, this is literally the best thing ever. And then, it was like, oh, it's like the caveman. Like, maybe it's like there
is something about the fire that makes you open to like.
I don't know if it's like I don't know if there's like an evolutionary, like, oh, caveman around the fire, but like literally having like being surrounded by a literal fire, talking to your like best friends, family, whoever, and again, gracefully pointing out things from a place of love. I'm like, dude, this is the best thing ever. I need more fires and bonfires, and and I was like, this is, put this on the calendar, like Claude, put fires on the calendar somewhere. Like this is like something. This needs to be. We need to act. We need to act on this. This is like fucking. It was like fucking life changing. I kind of dove into the fire thing, but you said fire, and I was like, I literally just did that. It was fucking amazing, like truly life changing.
I think there is genuinely something about a fire that makes you open to these types of topics and receptive to them, and makes you feel safe, I guess, right? Maybe there is evolutionary something that does that. But I've had like very, very interesting, deep conversations specifically around the fire. So arson is going to be our next business idea.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, that's our next spinoff is like bringing everyone around. You're gonna pay $10,000 to fly somewhere and sit around a fire and open up. I mean, it's basically what I did. It was worth it. Even with the delayed flights and stuff back. Yeah, so there's that. So what do you got, bro? Like what have you been kind of thinking about? Or are you just all in on the IT and cracking the code on how to sell people things they don't want?
So but they need it. They don't want it, they need it. Well, I'm not trying to be like a snake oil salesman here, right? They need it. It's bad. It's illegal not to have it.
I would fire you as a podcast guest if you didn't call that out.
But it's so there's a lot of little things that I'm doing on the side as well. So the
you were doing your third place for a while, but then
I started shooting. I started going to the gun range. I got my license and everything.
Wow,
so that's my third place now. I'm doing
that's your third place shooting.
That's my third place. Friday I was tired. I had a busy morning. I went to the gun range. I shot some rounds and talked to some people there. Like it's strange for a Canadian.
I was just going to say they allow guns in Canada. Like I'm not
very specific.
We keep this focus on religion and politics, but I didn't know the guns in Canada thing.
So not like they're not going to take hunting rifles and shotguns away from people. That's the main thing. So
that's the main thing.
The range that I go to is like a skeet range. They do trap at skeet shooting and stuff. So you can still get a license. But you're limited to like shotguns and rifles essentially, with a very limited capacity. Like they block it at 2. You can't have more than 2 cartridges in a chamber. So it's you can hunt is the point. You're still able to hunt. You just can't. Like home defense is kind of out of the question, honestly, here, because you have the rules around where you keep your guns and how you keep them and where you keep your ammo. It's like in a home defense situation, which we don't really have a lot of break-ins, which is very nice, but in a home defense situation, you're kind of fun. But yeah, man, it's super relaxing and surprisingly relaxing. Like I got my wife into it. She's like, this is way better than people expect. Like just aiming down range and having a target and going for it and like taking everything else out of your mind is super relaxing. But the other thing, and this is one of those things where like you said I was humble at the beginning, so I have trouble mentioning this, but it is something that I'm very excited about, and I'm like curious to see how it pans out. But I was eligible to join Mensa, so I joined Mensa.
Yeah,
and I'm like, they have a meeting soon, like an annual gathering.
I'll just clip out the part where I said you're humble. It's fine.
Okay, good. Make me seem like an asshole. I'm so smart. But yeah, that's so. Here's the interesting thing. I've met people that I know are smarter than me. Like it's not even a question in my mind that they're more intelligent, like the brain is just bigger. Um, they're not immense, and I am. So I wonder who are the types of people that are like, I'm smarter than everybody, and I would just want to be around people that are also smarter than, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it just arrogant people that are in there? Is it like, who am I going to meet in this club, in this, high IQ society?
Have you met anyone? Has anything come from it, or what's the next kind of steps or whatever?
So they have a Discord for the young adult folk, that I'm on, and I'm like chatting. It seems like any other Discord. It's a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of memes and stuff, and so it seems fine. But I haven't met anybody in person, so I'm looking forward to this event to try to see what comes of it, and hopefully find people that I can learn from when it comes to sales and marketing, and people that are at that level of
There's a lot of people who are not in Mensa who can teach you sales and marketing. But when's the event?
mid-August.
All right, so we'll have to do it'd be fun to chat about that post
Yeah.
event. And then you didn't seek this out, as I recall. Like, how did you come across this? You were getting tested for others, or how did this come?
Yeah. I was getting tested for ADHD, and part of the test is an IQ test. So because it's like,
How is that?
Can you not pay it?
How are they? What's the relationship between ADHD and IQ?
Is it that you can't pay attention, or you're just not smart enough to understand things?
You were trying to say that politely,
Right? Like that's, I guess that's the thing. Like, are you able to comprehend, but you just can't focus, right? So it's just to eliminate any other variables. And then it turned out I was like 99th percentile. I was way high on the IQ test, which explained a lot. It explains the late diagnosis, because I only got diagnosed a couple of years ago.
Well, I gotta throw in some what do you call them? Clickbait. So what's your IQ number? I'm gonna put that in the clickbait.
So the problem with the number is that it varies based on the test, but it's 99th percentile. It's the high. It's like, I think on the test that I did, I scored a 142. So,
like, I think the highest one's like 150 or something. Like, I don't know.
Again, it depends on the test. I don't like using the number. It's just, and even Mensa, like, if you go through their list on their website for like what score you need based on which test, it varies based on the test. So you have to be in 98th percentile in order to be accepted into Mensa, and it's a proctored exam. Somebody has to be there to take it for you, like for you to take it with someone in person, type of thing. And because I did it with a psychologist who was assessing me for ADHD, it worked. Like, they accepted that as the proof. And yeah, so it explains so much. Honestly, if there's something, you know what, let's get on this topic, because it's such a life-changing sort of thing, is certainty. So I was thinking about this a lot the other day, where being certain that I have ADHD and that I'm very intelligent, both have changed so much, because the amount of doubt in my mind about whether or not I'm capable of doing things, whether or not I have obstacles in my way, like all of that, it was eliminated, right? So it explained my entire life, and now I have something that I don't have to wonder anymore, and I just have to work around, right? The obstacle becomes the way, type of thing. So the like, what are the obstacles that I have when it comes to ADHD? Okay, I have to work in these certain patterns, and I, there are certain things that I'm really not capable of doing in the same way that you're sort of not capable of putting your hand on a burner, right? Like, it's just, let's not put myself in a situation where I'm promising to deliver on something that I'm not capable of doing. And I'm also certain that I can pretty much learn anything and do anything properly. Like, when you're talking about Amazon stuff, I was genuine, like, when we were working together on your brand. Part of the reason I cut through the chuff was because I'm learned it very quickly. I wasn't doing Amazon for very long before we started talking. Right? I picked it up. I started a webinar. I was teaching people how to run Amazon. I have a couple of ex-clients that couldn't find anyone as good, and so they begged me to work with them again. And I am. I'm working with a couple of people that I'm specifically ex-clients that just couldn't find someone that was doing as well as I was, or had the right approach, or thought through things well. And that is giving me certainty that whatever I'm dealing with now, like the sales and marketing stuff, I know that I can figure it out. I just have to figure it out. Right. So and even within that approach, right, when it comes to picking a path for the marketing strategy, right, there's a lot of different things that we could do. We could do Facebook ads, we could do Google ads, we can find influence. I don't know. There's a million different things that we could do. And in speaking with a lot of people that have been in the business, that are doing high ticket marketing, high ticket sales, Google ads is the first thing to do. Everyone said Google ads is the first thing to do. And now I'm certain that Google ads is the first thing to do. I'm not going to question that anymore. I'm not going to spend $5,000-$10,000 on Google ads and then wonder if I did the right thing. If it's not working, the question isn't, am I doing the right thing? It's, how am I doing it wrong? Because I'm certain I'm doing the right thing. I'm just not getting the results, which means I have to change my approach to that. But I'm not taking a step further back behind Google and being like, maybe I should try Facebook ads now. Maybe Google ads was not the right thing. And that uncertainty there is a very dangerous thing. So I guess just being certain about as many things as possible in whatever you're trying to accomplish is the point, right? So are you sure that this product is going to be successful? Or are you sure that whatever? Right? How do we remove as much uncertainty from the process as possible? But that was a big part of the diagnosis, of like knowing that I have ADHD means I'm not wondering anymore, and even before starting to take the medication, it made a really big impact on my approach to things, because it's like, okay, well, I'm not able to do this task. Is it because I'm stupid? Is it because I suck? Is it because I'm just incapable? Like, which had led me into like a downward spiral.
Yeah,
That
there's
was
all
really
this.
like,
It's a very shame-inducing.
yeah. But now it's not that anymore, right? Now I'm certain of what it is, and I just have to work around it.
That's super cool. Yeah, that you could do. We could do a whole thing on the the shame pre-certainty, max shame ADHD life. That's
Yeah.
one. Another big one that you hit on for me is the what I call zoom in or zoom out. Like, am I doing the right thing, or I did the right thing the wrong way versus I did the wrong thing? Is because what happens, as you know, is one tries something, I try something, and then it doesn't work. And I'm like going through that diagnostic list of, is it the right thing? Did I do the right thing the wrong way? Like all these, and then trying to zoom in and zoom out big picture. Was this the right thing? Zoom in. Did I do it well? Did I mismanage it? And that about sums up 40% of my misery. like, like it's hard, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you're trying different things and experiment. Before you get into Mensa and all this stuff, I'm like, well, some people say experimenting, you don't fail. It's just an experiment. So I'm like trying all these things. But even if you experiment, like if you don't have that certainty and the experiment fails, you still don't know like why it failed based on those two, if those are categorically the two options. So, but that's amazing, man. That's so, yeah. We talk business, but it's like there's a personal significance to all this of like, this is a big deal. And sounds like you would recommend certain people to go find a certified test or something, or like what?
So if there's anything that I'm recommending, is if you are wondering if you have a neurodivergence, anything, get tested, get diagnosed, become certain, because it'll impact your approach to things. You'll stop wondering, right? And I really don't like. Well, it's like a pet peeve of mine. But when someone's like, "Oh, I have ADHD, that's why I can't do that,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, "Oh, when did you get diagnosed?" And they're like, "Oh, I haven't." Like, okay, so now you're putting a limiter on yourself
Yeah.
that you aren't sure of, right?
It's
Like,
also a disservice to the other people who actually have ADHD, you know?
well, I don't honestly care about that as
Yeah,
much.
that's fair.
But you're limiting yourself. You now have a potential limiting belief that you've accepted, and it stops you from doing something, right? So that's like, if you have limits, find out what they are and be certain of them.
Mm.
Don't put limiting beliefs onto yourself, because what if you get tested and they say you don't have it?
What if they get
And what if you
tested?
get tested and now you can get
What if you get
medication?
what if you get tested? You find out you're a genius. What's the like overarching body, or like what's the .com or whatever? Like the point, like if people the whatever hits the top of Google, or like what?
Well, like, I don't know about psychology and stuff,
No.
but
In terms of like finding reputable diagnostics and things like that. Like, how did you go about that?
I looked for, I Googled it and I found a private clinic. Like, I know you can, if you, here we have healthcare, so you
Yeah.
can,
Okay. Yeah. We don't
it'll
have.
take a couple of years to get someone. So if you're Canadian, you can pretty much just request, like, speak to a doctor, request it, and they'll get back to you in a while.
That's
Uh,
not how it works here. Yeah. All right.
so, but if you have a place, like, there are specialists, and I went to a private clinic that does that. They offer it, right? So it was pretty thorough examination. I had to, like, fill out several forms. I had to do a full IQ test. It took like 3 hours just for the test. And then I had to get my friends and family to fill out a form to, like, kind of expand on.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's hardcore.
well, it's a very hard thing to diagnose because it's a spectrum of symptoms,
That's
right?
where I was that because you can self-report like, oh no, I'm not, sensitive to sounds or whatever and it's like,
Yeah,
just like you said 30 minutes ago, like you have no reference point for
100%.
your competencies. So if I'm filling out a thing, that's exactly where my brain was going. I was debating even bringing it up, but I'm like, I kind of have suspicions about the validity of tests because you can just self-report things. But I didn't know they did the 360 for a friend's family. That buffs it out.
Yeah, and they have to report on, like, your history and stuff. And the interview itself, he was asking a lot of questions about past, and like, how do you handle these situations, and what are the stuff. And what was, again, as I was discussing, is when I realized how it had impacted a lot of things in my life in the past, right? Like, I could never pay attention in class. Turns out I didn't really have to, uh, but that's why I dropped out of university.
Turns out you shouldn't have even like. Turns out it didn't even like matter. Like there's so many levels of
100%.
like,
I was, but because I was both, I was just like an average guy, right? So they sort of balanced out in terms
it's
of
like
my ability
don't
to
pay
actually grow.
attention plus smart guy equals like passable grades. All right,
Exactly. Until university, at which point I just could not pass. Like, I couldn't. It required a level of focus and a level. It was beyond what I could just skate through, and so I dropped out.
So that was kind of what I was going to ask of like when you say if you wonder get tested, like what made you wonder, like what were the core things, like just the fact that you couldn't complete things, or like I feel like that is a bit of an is that an oversimplification, or is that really the 80/20 of if you can't complete things, question mark.
So it was a very interesting situation, because if I look at my past, there's a lot that would have been explained by ADHD. But anytime something significant was there, anytime where it was like, for example, in university, I couldn't pay attention, I couldn't do my class, I couldn't really, like, do my homework, and so on. Um, I also had my father in the hospital. He had had a heart attack. Like, there was a lot of personal stuff happening at the same time. So I'm like, maybe it's that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe it's this. Maybe it's this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there was always something else going
Confounding
on
variables.
that clouded the idea and made it harder to figure out. But then when I was doing my work, and it was when I was doing Amazon stuff, and I worked for a company that I liked, for a boss that I liked, for clients that I really it was work that was good. I didn't have any issues, any personal issues that were getting in the way. Nothing else explained it. So, and I still couldn't focus. I still couldn't get work done in an environment that I couldn't figure out why. So I'm like, there must be something else, and I started looking into it, and yeah, it was a friend of mine that actually was like, hey, I had done a test that was like a personal, like a psychology test, and part of that was like ADHD symptoms. And as I was reading it, I'm like, this is Nik. Like everything is a yes. And so you like maybe bring that, and those two things combined were my push to go get tested. And then I did, and I got my medication, and I could work like a champ.
Does it give you like the percentile of IQ? Does it give you a percentile of like what level of like your like max volume ADHD? Like, does it give you like a score or something?
I'm actually IQ is one thing, and ADHD is a different thing.
No, but just in terms of like having a gradient of how severe or whatever.
Yeah, it's the symptoms. So it's not. There isn't a
like 1 to 10.
Each symptom can be severe. Each symptom has to be severe to a certain degree.
All bugs are insects, but not all insects are bugs.
What? So I have the inattentive side. I'm not hyperactive.
Yeah. So technically you have ADD.
It used to be ADD, right? Attention deficit disorder. Now it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Like they added the H, and they kind of jumbled it together. I lack. It's the attention that I'm missing, and it's not that I'm missing attention, which is like the misconception when it comes to ADHD. What I'm missing is the ability to direct it. I can't tell my brain what to focus on. It's like a trick. I have to trick it, which is a very funny like dichotomy where it's like I'm like two people wrestling for trying to get something done. So I can focus for a very long time on the things that I enjoy. Right? That's the one of the symptoms of ADHD. Right? It's hyperfocus. That's a normal thing. Forgetting to eat, to drink, to whatever because you're focused on something. And I just can't decide what that is. I have to like trick myself into picking that. And if it's something I don't want to do, if it's for whatever reason, like one of the things that I really struggled with was working for someone who was making dumb decisions. I cannot do anything that I think is superfluous or unnecessary or whatever. If you can explain to me why it needs to get done, I'll do it. But if you cannot explain to me why, and I don't know why I'm doing it, I cannot do it. It is not. It's like a physical barrier. I broke down. I called like my skip to be like, look, I can't do this. I can't work for this guy. I cannot do the things that he wants me to do because they don't make sense to me, and he's not explaining them.
I think that relates to people outside of ADHD, but for sure. I mean, I have that 100%. Like if I don't care about it and I'm like, why am I like, I only want to do things that, in my words, move the needle, right? Like I want to do things that have an impact, like in a conceivable way, like I understand. So like that one's a 10 out of 10 for me. Like I go out of my way to, not that anyone cares, but I go out of my way to avoid doing things that I'm like, I just have no, like, why are we doing this? Like, why, like your time. And to me, it's a big deal. It's like your time on earth is Yeah, who knows if this is just like your time on earth is precious. Why would you, so for me, my brain goes ballistic. I'm like, I want to spend 0% energy and time on things that don't effing matter, So for me, I don't know, but maybe that's again the limits of self-awareness. Is it because I have an ideological belief about how time should be spent with, or is it just because your brain's a little wonky? It's like, who knows? But like, who knows
Yeah.
until you get tested? Swipe up.
Exactly. But that's the thing, like, the more things you can be certain of, the better you'll be able to make decisions. Because you're not re-examining all of those things. You don't have to worry about it. There's a level of certainty there that's gonna address it. And it's like, what do you do if you can't be certain? You have to rely on somebody else's certainty, right? So you have to find an authority figure. You have to find someone that knows, that seems like they know what they're doing, and rely on their certainty.
That's why financial pundits make the Jim Cramers. They make so much money. People just crave certainty. So if you don't have it, people will sell it to you. Keep that in mind. How do you trick your brain?
It's I have to figure that part out. I haven't.
I was like, what's the trick? I want to know the party trick.
Yeah, I want to know the trick. Honestly, there's a lot of little pieces. So one of the things is it's patterns that I found that help a little bit. So if I'm waking up, like if I just woke up and I'm nothing, like, and I know what I'm doing, it's way easy for me to start whatever I'm doing, whatever I want to be doing. So let's say so one of the ways that I found to become more productive and do the things that I don't generally want, that my ADHD doesn't want me to do, but I want to do, right? I know is important to do, is to say I'm going to do it when I wake up and then just go to sleep. So I know I have it written down somewhere. This is what I'm going to do as soon as I wake up. I go to sleep. Before I'm awake enough for my ADHD to kick in, I've already started. And the problem is the starting. Once I'm started, I'm able to like stay in it. I'm much more able to stay in it than having to take that first step. So that's one of the patterns that I found. So even in the middle of the day, if I'm like, I need to start this, I'm not going to be able to start it. I'm really struggling. Okay, write it down. Take a nap. As soon as I wake up, I go do the thing. So I found little patterns of when is it that like my ADHD is asleep, and how do I deal with that?
And if you don't,
also drugs, like prescription meth works too. So,
well,
I just don't like taking it because it makes me irritable.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how do you manage life without drugs is sort of the starter kit.
100%.
If you absolutely need them, disclaimer, don't, all that, like take them, talk to a doctor,
So,
but
like next week, I have to start redoing the finances, like rebuilding the financial structure of the company, because it's not clear. A lot of things are not clear. The CEO knows things. He can go in and find the things that he wants. But when it comes to like making sure that the P&L and stuff is super evident, things are not being categorized properly. There's doubles, there's mismatches, and it's causing a little bit of a lack of clarity when it comes to being able to make decisions on where the margin is, whatever. I'm not going to be able to fucking do that, and I know that.
yeah.
Yeah, I got my little pill bottle. Like it's gonna help me get through that.
Yeah, I could barely.
But I haven't been taking it for the past like.
Yeah, I mean, I was tapping out just listening to that. I was like, oh my, I can't. I was like, no. Okay, party tricks. If you don't do it the night before, then what? You get insomnia, or like what? If you don't,
no, I can't do the thing in the morning.
You can't do the thing, so it doesn't affect your sleep.
The problem is not this is knowing the next thing to do. So I was examining my work patterns because prior to my diagnosis, there were work situations where I was killing it. So there were a couple of situations where I obviously I didn't know that I had it, and I wasn't taking medication for it, but there were times where I was hyperproductive, and I was comparing that to when I wasn't. And the interesting parts of it is, one is there's a certain, so the two times that I can specifically think to were when I was a tech, when I was a level 1 IT tech, and when I was in the restaurant that I was running, when I was in the kitchen and I was preparing the meals. So I told you I owned a restaurant, right?
I don't think so, but
Okay. So
memories.
there was like a board game restaurant that I owned.
Oh, yeah. That's how you kind of like got inspired to do
Third place thing.
a third place thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the two situations where I was really on the ball and I could just work and knock things out and no problem, no concerns. And then compare that to the agency work where I struggled a ton. I just couldn't do it. In both of those situations, the next task is unquestionable. It's the next ticket, it's the next order, this is the thing that I have to work on now. Clarity in terms of the next task. The task itself is not monotonous. There's some level of mental work to do within the task. It's not like
It's not
the
road. Yeah.
I can't, the road isn't clear necessarily, right? In IT, even if again my printer is broken, I don't know what's causing that break this time. I have to examine it. I have to double check and make sure and figure out what the problem is and complete it. And for the cook section, it's like, okay, in this order, I have 2 burgers, this many fries, this much. I have to do this. Okay, so for me to do that, I have to put the burgers on first, and then do the fries, and then get the buns. But then the salad has to wait, so I do salad first, actually, and then there's a little bit of figuring something out. But the end is clear. The goal is also very clear. So the start and the end, the A and B, are super clear and super tangible, and they are also concise. It's not a long project. It's not like I'm, implementing an entirely new system.
Optimizing ads, infinite task. Yeah. So it's actually more.
Sorry, it's just because we've talked about this before, but I want to finish the parentheses. In comparison to when I was optimizing ads, there is the beginning is like, where do I even start? Which campaign do I want to optimize? Right. So it's not the clearest, but I can try to get through that and I try to find the little issues that I can find. And then when do I finish? How much optimization is enough? Right? I can spend an hour on it, but I can also just keep going and keep finding other little things. There's always something else that I can tweak to optimize. And it's an infinite amount of work with no clear ending. And I just kind of have to decide that I'm done. And then I have to work on something else. But what else am I going to, now I'm in that same cycle again. So it's unclear on A and B. The middle path is also it's all good. I enjoyed that part of trying to figure out how to optimize, but A and B is super unclear. And then, but if A and B are clear, but the middle path is also super clear, data entry, billing, I have to do invoicing for clients, forget about it. It's step by step. It's super monotonous. It's procedural. I just do this every single time. I can't do it. I have to figure something out when I'm.
That's such an interesting. This is why I got re-inspired to do the podcast, because I've never heard of it that way. I've never thought of that. So the equation is you need a clear A and B, and you need the road to A to B to have a component of variability. And if you're missing the clear A or B, or the road is super, monotonous, then it just doesn't. That's really interesting. Another thing is the branding is of ADHD is I can't focus or do the task. But what we're talking about is, it sounds like it's more, is it more you can't do tasks, or more the main challenge is just like figuring out, deciding, because that's so interesting. Like just knowing, like what's more of the kind of the meat of it. Like here's 10 tasks, go do them. I can't do it, or figuring out 10 tasks to do. Like, what are they, or do you think of them separately? Because those are both
Well, it's two
pitfalls.
different. It's two different things that might both trigger. So if it's here's 10 tasks, oh, we're not, but they're so the elements are, like you said, a clear priority of what the next thing is, a clear definition of what is considered done for that thing, an unclear path to get it done, right? A level of thinking that has to happen in order to get it complete, and the length of time that it would take for that to be limited. So
So I
if it's a
don't
very long project,
too much
the
delayed
done is
growth.
still clear, but I have infinite time to do it, or not infinite time, but it'll take a
Yeah.
week to get this thing done. It's also just very difficult to start because the urgency. Sorry, that's another factor of it. Urgency has to be there in both cases. Whether it was the cooking or the IT, someone was expecting something of me. There was someone's computer that was broken. There's someone's order that I had to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was expecting something of me. So any work that I'm doing for myself, if I make checklists, it's very difficult to just do them because it's like, who am I doing this for? Me? I hate me. Fuck me. He doesn't need it, right? Like, why would I do it for myself? Like, so the urgency and the importance of somebody else, like a deadline that someone is enforcing, is also part of it. If any of those is lacking, it's very tough to do. It's about the effort that it takes to do it. If enough of them are lacking, it's almost a mental block, like an impossibility, right? So that's the downside. Like an example that someone had given about ADHD, and again, I really don't want to put these limits on myself either. It's really just like it's so much effort to get these done. I don't want to put myself in a position where I have to deliver on things that I struggle with. But the example that someone gave was there's a stove that's on, the burner's hot. Put your hand on it. So what do you? I can't. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you will stop. You. What do you
Mm-hmm.
mean? There's no physical barrier.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
you wanted to, you could, right? But it's like, no, I can't. What do you mean? If I wanted to, I could. I can't. How are you supposed to bite your own finger off? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that, right? So it's that's the it's a good analogy for the type of like inability or difficulty in getting something done. Uh, so that's it can get to that level where it's like this is torture.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'm just not going to be able to do it, right? There's it's very interesting,
Yeah.
and
I
because
mean,
you're
it's
also
like a
like
whole.
I'm also examining this almost like a third person,
Yeah. Well,
like
yeah, and you're aware of it, and you still see the challenges, and yeah, it's like you're like, I want to. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I think it's really interesting that you got over this like binary hump of it's a clear quote unquote certain thing for you that now you can just proceed with your life. You also get the afterglow effect of the placebo of being told you're in Mensa. It's like probably now you have Midas touch and everything you touch turns to gold. You're like, oh, I'm a genius. I can figure it out. So that'd be cool to um I think that's like just again trying to pull some things out for people who I think would if you made it this far in the I think some of the thing about testing is, oh, what if it comes back bad? And it's like, well, look at
good.
it's like, well, right, well, good. That's one wavelength, but I'm going, but like, there's also, what if it comes back great. Like, what if it comes back and you find out you, oh no,
My point.
statistically, you will not come back Mensa, but
No, but my point is the intention isn't to like pass this test. The result is what's important, because now you know. So let's say it comes back and like, I don't want to say, but let's say it's a really low IQ, right? Now you know.
I'm not taking this test.
But now you know, and that's the thing that you have to work around, and you have to understand it. So the impact that so genuinely speaking, when I got it, I'm like, wow, I did not consider myself as, I thought I was smarter than average. I didn't consider myself top. You know what I mean? And then when I got that, I actually gained so much patience for the people that I was helping in IT. Because I'm like, okay, that's the average person. Now I have to go to that at their pace, and I'm trying to be nice about in terms of the way that I'm saying. Like, I'm coming from a place of niceness and patience, and I see it in the best texts, and I see it I see the opposite in the worst texts, where they're super impatient with people. Like, why can't you just figure this out? And it's like, first of all, he doesn't know what you know. First, like, primarily, the knowledge isn't there.
Yeah.
Secondly, maybe they struggle to figure this part. Like, maybe they're not good at this thing, but they're really good at sales. Yeah. But they don't know how to fix their phone or whatever, right? They have different levels of knowledge, and it's hard for some people to figure things out. And that's like, when you're coming from this height, it's like, oh, okay, now I get it. I understand why people are struggling. I understand why I'm so much faster than a lot of people. I get it, and it built a lot of patience in me when it came to dealing with anybody. So I slowed down, and it was much better. I was much less like personally frustrated, and I was much more patient with people. And my best tech is one of the sweetest, most patient people. What's really funny about this guy, he was facing a lot of customers. Like, he was running a computer store before becoming working for us in IT, and so he dealt with like the open public people that were coming into thing. And what he gained from that is an uncanny ability. Like, I'll ask him a question, and I will see him think about how much knowledge I may have in this instance to dumb down his answer to the right amount. It's like, do I need to explain this in crayon, or is coloring pencil okay? Right? Like, it's like, okay, coloring pencil is okay. And then he explained it perfectly in such a way that I understood it. And if it was somebody else, then he might have gone further down. Right? He might have made it even simpler. And so it's like a very good thing to be able to gauge that and speak to the person in their language and in their ability to understand.
You built an API for morons. It's like a really good, good skill set.
He's one of the guys that I'm like, man, he must be, how is 101 percentile? Like, how does he beat me? Right? Like, it's there's a lot of people that like that, man. I was surprised by that as much as I wasn't surprised by ADHD. I was surprised by the IQ.
That's awesome. Well, I want to keep this saga going and hear, like, after the event, and you're meeting people, and also, how long has it been since you got diagnosed?
2 years.
Oh, 2 years. All right. So we got some data. We got 2 years of so you like 2 years on the other side of certainty. Okay. Was that Kurt, like, was it like a all big kind of change in the beginning, or has it been like a gradual acclimating, like, this informing your life and kind of folding this into how you think and operate? Like, is it still drip feeding you in some ways, or is it like, I think I got it down now, and no.
Yeah, no, not
like party tricks.
I'm still figuring, like, what I've done is figure out some of the things that I'm really good at and some of the things that I'm really bad at and that I struggle with. And what was great was explaining that to the people to whom it matters, right? So whether it's my wife or my new boss or whatever, if I before getting the job, I'm like, look, these are the things that if you ask me to do, I will let you down. Do not ask me to do these things. This is beyond what I'm like able to do, and I care. I want to do those things, and it's not a caring thing. I cannot. I will fail at delivering on these promises. So don't make me promise these things. I can do this, this, and this. Then this is the way. And we built my entire my role to match what I'm good at, and what I'm struggling with. Well, struggling. What I'm trying to figure out is more of these patterns. How do I get around? Like, how do I get around the weaknesses, and how do I work through them, and like how can I build my life in such a way that I don't need to take medication every day? Because it's miserable. Like the side effects are that you become angry. Like you're muted, your emotions, everything's muted, so you don't really feel much, whether it's happy or sad or whatever. And then you're just irritable. Like I was getting snappy with my wife for no reason.
Not gonna
Like,
fly.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. She understood, right? But I didn't like that. And again, it's like you're viewing yourself from a third person. Like, why are you being a dick? Stop. Oh, you took your medication. Oh, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
So I have to like, I don't want to do that. And you're right. Like, I'm able to function in. I know I've proven it to myself that I'm able to function at a high capacity in the right situation. So find out what those situations are. That's what I'm trying to do.
I love it. Well, let's pin it there. We'll do more of these. ADHD saga part 1, Nik part 1. Any final wrap ups for today's jam sesh?
I feel like I spoke too much. I want you to talk more next time.
Okay.
I can delve into your nonsense. Like being one of those guys that told you to stop focusing on random shit. I want to launch a new product. Why? Stop. No.
All right. Maybe I'll talk more next time. All right. Bye for now.